Hi, welcome back to PC Builder. I'm Jason. Black Friday is almost here and GPU prices are going totally insane right now. We'll have the latest on where we think prices are going to go for Black Friday. We'll also talk a little bit about the RTX 4080 launch coming down the pike, as well as the RX 7900, XTX, and 7900 XT. And of course, we'll look at the best price to performance GPUs right now in November for Black Friday for you to buy for an upgrade or build. Remember, if you get value out of the video, give it a like, because it makes a huge difference, especially this guy right here. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. With that, let's jump into it. Before that, this video is sponsored by VIP SCD Key. Say goodbye to crazy expensive Windows 10 licenses and that terrible Activate Windows 10 watermark. Right now, use the links in the video description, head over to VIP SCD Key, and get a Windows 10 Home or Pro OEM license for a great price. Pick your product license, then use the PC Builder discount code PC25 for an additional 25% off. Go to the activation settings on your PC, put in the code, and boom, you have a fully licensed Windows 10 for a crazy low price, which can be upgraded for free to Windows 11. Use the links in the video description below. Let's start off with where else brand new GPU pricing. Let's start from the NVIDIA side this time. We always start off with AMD, and I want to start off with the RTX 4090 because there's some really crazy stuff going on with it that I think is going to spill over to the RTX 4080 launch if you're expecting to get an RTX 4080 or expecting to get it sometime before the end of the year. Now, right now, we've got it down 5%, $2,050 in November versus $2,150. Where do you get those prices, Jason? Well, I certainly do not get them from Newegg or Amazon or any reputable retailer because they have been sold out of stock since launch day. You can see right here, this is Newegg's page. Everything is sold out. Amazon similarly. Now, you can find listings on Amazon, but they are third-party sellers that are essentially scalpers. We saw this during the GPU crisis before. We're seeing again now with the RTX 4090 launch. If we look at the average sold price, just looking at the back end of eBay here, we can see it's down slightly. It was up more around $2,400, has come down to about $2,200. Now that encompasses all the RTX 4090s that are sold. If of course you look on eBay, buy it now price, ones that don't look like total scams, it looks like about $2,050 will get you an RTX 4090. Remember, you do get some buyer protection on eBay that you don't on other things like Craigslist, Facebook Marketplace, buying something for cash on the street, etc., etc. That being said, I never recommend people buy scalp products, but I certainly understand if you want to get one of these things. NVIDIA seems to be throttling supply because why do I say that? Well, if you look at the total number of RTX 4090s that have been sold, look at this line here. It's going down. In fact, it's only about 40, 45 a day now, down from a high of over 100. They've dumped everything in and they're just kind of throttling supply right now. Being NVIDIA, being that they've already been very public about their sales strategy of throttling 4090 launch or 4000 series launch while they sell off the 3000 series stockpile. They've said this in their shareholder meetings and their shareholder briefing calls. I wouldn't put it past them. Jumping over to the RTX 3000 series and look at that at the top of the stack, 26% increase. You heard me say that right, of the RTX 3090 and RTX 3090 Ti. Lowest price, $1,199 versus $949 last month. Say, Jason, what the heck is going on? Well, Newegg completely sold out of these GPUs. Amazon is largely sold out except for third-party scalpers that are way overcharging for those GPUs. Could be one of two things. One is maybe the RTX 3090s are finally being sold through. The other thing is there has been a huge uptick of interest in PC building as the GPU market has crashed, especially with the new graphics card launches, which we'll go through. And it's entirely possible that right now it's just overwhelmed the supply and there will be more later, but hard to say. Similarly, the RTX 3080 Ti also sold out at Newegg completely. In fact, they only have two models they're currently listing. Now, it's possible they're saving up some of these models for Black Friday deals and they've just temporarily taken them off so they don't sell out. That being said, I think they're probably sold out of these models. Amazon, similarly, the prices are absolutely bonkers right now. That being said, the price for the RTX 3080, if we take a quick look at it, $739, up 1%. The only problem there is just like the other models, the 3080 itself, the 12 and the 10 gigabyte, kind of in danger of selling out. Right now, that's just one Zotac model. I know I got a lot of people last month. I said Zotac cards are fine. They disagreed with me. Okay, if you don't like Zotac, then you're in big trouble here. You're then spending $780 for an RTX 3080. That's an MSI. Yestron has their wedding version of it for $770 if you're into anime. $789 for another MSI version. That's pretty much it. Around the RTX 3070 is where things do start to improve. RTX 3070 and 3070 Ti. Remember, don't get the Ti. It's only about 4% faster for like $100 extra. It's crazy. But $529 in November versus $519 for October, only up a couple percent, basically variance. And there's a number of different models that are available right now with game bundles. Don't as often see that with NVIDIA cards as you do with AMD. So if you want, remember, check the links down in the video description for all the GPUs we're looking at right now. 3060 Ti, a lot of folks might start rejoicing at the $399 price, down 9% from $439 last month, until I tell you Zotac models. If you don't like Zotac, then the price is more about the same as it was last month. You do get the game bundle with it, which is nice. $439, really not competitive with what AMD is offering, but if you're a video editor and all you do is video editing, or you have to have NVIDIA for some reason, $439, not bad pricing. We got the 3060. We won't go through the models, but basically the price has gone back up. There were a couple on discount for $340 last month. Now they're $369, up 8%. Not great. RTX 3050, $269, only down 4%. That card still has not hit its MSRP. Remember, it's slower than the 2060, way slower than the 6600. GTX 1660 Ti/Super levels of performance. Speaking of which, the GTX 1660 Super, $199 right now over at Newegg. That's the price it should have been in the last 2 years. Finally kind of returning to that price. RTX 2060, I think we're starting to sell through the last of them, up 8% to $269. The 2060 Super is also available for not that much more. I think it's like $289, $299. Good 3060 alternative if you're looking for one. Really quickly, I keep getting comments that I'm ignoring the Intel A750, A770 launch. I'm not ignoring it. These are not products that I would recommend to anybody, but since people seem to want the data, the prices are essentially unchanged for the A750 and A770. Again, I don't recommend them. They are unfinished products in my estimation. The GPU market needs more competition. I was excited for what Intel had to offer, but it needs actual competition, not fake competition, and that's what the A750 and A770 are, in my opinion. Over to the AMD side, where you can see big price drops again, especially for the lower and mid-range cards. And we're going to go over what's going to happen in Black Friday, what my thoughts on are, because AMD does tend to make it rain in terms of the discounts. But I will note the 6900, 6950 XT, 6800 XT, those cards do seem to be selling out. Not as many models available right now, while the price overall has come down, $654, down about, $15 or so from last month. Again, ASRock Phantom Gaming D model, there is an XFX Speedster model, but then we do start kind of running out of available models. We get more into things that are like 6950 XT, the water-cooled models. So I'm not sure how many models are out there left to be sold. 6800 XT, down to $519. Pretty good price for that card, but again, we're seeing kind of the end of these cards, because if you look, the next one there is about $659. So really, it's just the ASRock model is at that price. Then if we look at the 6800, that's over at Amazon, $479. Pretty good price for this GPU, especially given that the next level of AMD GPUs are really going to be at the $899 and $999 price level. So this is probably pretty fast for the price that you're paying. And then we get down to where the pricing is really hitting home. That's a 10% decrease on the RX 6700, down to $349. That is an absolutely insane value. Yes, this is MSI. This is mostly on their cards that have rebates. There are some other cards in here that have promo codes as well, but again, good cards, $349. Then we get into where things are starting to get totally bonkers. So you have the RX 6650 XT. Remember, the RX 6600 XT largely sold out. If you see a listing, they're crazy pricing because they're out of stock. But the 6650 XT, just absolutely insane value right now. So you get the Gigabyte Eagle model here for $259 if you want. There's another one here with the promo code and the rebate for the MSI model, $249. These GPUs, I really keep my eye on. Although honestly, at $249, I'm quite sure what you're exactly waiting for to save another $10 or $15. I just picked this one up right now. And then we've got the RX 6600 down to $189. Look at that. That is insane. This is pre-Black Friday pricing. Black Friday deals are coming, but they're already here if you want to buy an RX 6600. In fact, I tweeted this deal out today because it was just too good to keep. And you actually have to kind of scroll down a little bit for it, because it is one of the higher price cards, but then they've got a $30 promo code, a $20 rebate, and you get down to $189. There is also the Sapphire Pulse if you don't want to do the rebate. This is $199. Now, I will say on the Lite Edition, remember, it only has 2 video outs, but for most people buying this card, you're probably only going to run 1 monitor on it, so I really wouldn't worry about it. Overall, GPU prices on the AMD side have come down pretty significantly. Before we get into all the Black Friday deals and what's going to happen with pricing, let's talk about the massive developments going on in the GPU market. First, with the RTX 4080 16GB launch on November 16th at 9 a.m. Eastern time. You can see here at Newegg, they've got a number of the cards already listed, but no prices. Guess who does have pricing though? Micro Center made its pricing available. And brace yourself for this. If you don't know what the MSRP on this card is, it's $1,199. Double what the RTX 30, almost double what the RTX 3080 launched at for $699 2 years ago. That's the largest gen over gen price increase pretty much ever. I mean, it doesn't even come close to anything else. And there's only going to be 4 models, at least at Micro Center, that are available for that $1,199. There's a couple that are around that, and that's fine. I mean, AIB models typically run a little bit more, but the MSRP is already so huge on this card. And there are models that go up to $1,549. That's totally insane. Why wouldn't you just buy a 4090? Well, probably because you can't actually get a 4090 right now for the MSRP. Of course, the question is, does the performance justify that price? Well, let's take a look. These are NVIDIA's graphs, performance graphs, that actually got the 4080 12GB canceled or pushed off or whatever you want to call it, because people were focused on this gray bar here, which is the rasterization performance, not the DLSS 3 adding in frame generation, because it actually has been shown to increase the latency. A lot of people don't like that. They say that they're not going to use DLSS 3. So if we just look at rasterization, 57 FPS here, and this is F1 2022 versus the 3090 Ti at 49. That's only about a 12, maybe 15% increase over the 3090 Ti for quite a bit more money, given at the time the 3090 Ti was selling for more like $900, obviously not now. Here in a Plague Tale Requiem, similarly at 4K, we're seeing about a 10% uplift. And finally, for Microsoft Flight Simulator, much bigger uplift here, more about 30% total, so that's pretty good. But remember, these games were all hand-picked by NVIDIA to show off their GPUs, so these are obviously going to be best case scenarios. So $1,200 to get about anywhere from 10 to 30% increase over the 3090 Ti, some people might say that's fallen a little short. Of course, there is other performance data out there for the RTX 4080 showing a bigger uplift over the 3080, not the 3090 Ti. People can be the judge of that. But I think the conundrum that buyers are going to find themselves is, if you want an RTX 4080, you better grab one. You probably don't have time to watch all the content that comes out in terms of the benchmarks and everything. You're just going to have to go, I would probably just buy one, and then while it's packaging and getting ready to be shipped, go watch all those benchmarks really quickly and decide whether or not this card is actually for you, because it more than likely, given what happened to the RTX 4090, will completely sell out, and I expect a lot of those buyers on day one will be scalpers. Of course, AMD has its own answer, which they announced last month, which is the RX 7900 XTX for $1,000 and the RX 7900 XT for $900, $899, coming on December 13th. Now, we did a whole video on these cards, what we thought they would do for GPU pricing and the market in general. I'll leave a link to that down in the video description if you want to deep dive. My nutshell thoughts on this are basically, this is very good because it pegs the top end of AMD's lineup at around that $900 to $1,000 price point that we saw from their last generation. So no price inflation. So I would expect the remaining portions of AMD's lineup to fill out in the similar price brackets to what we saw for the Radeon 6000 series, which is really good for gamers, because it means that NVIDIA, they want to probably charge about $900 for an RTX 4070, which was the 4080 12GB. They may not be able to now. So overall, good for the market. So where is pricing for graphics cards going on Black Friday? That's what everyone wants to know. Of course, remember to follow us at Twitter at PCBuilderJason. We tweet out deals all through Black Friday, the best deals that we can find, and we also put them on the YouTube community page. We'll also do 2 dedicated videos. We'll do a Black Friday builds video and we'll do a Black Friday PC gaming deals video. So stay subscribed for that. But where's Black Friday pricing for graphics cards going? I went back several years worth of ads because obviously last year with the GPU crisis total wash, in order to kind of determine where we might see some of these pricing going. This is the ad from 2019. Yes, I went all the way back 2019, 2018 to take a look. Mostly what I think we're going to see is a repeat of this, where we see them on the lower end, especially for the AMD cards. This is an RX 570 for $99. Remember when they made graphics cards for good graphics cards for less than $100? I can't even remember those days anymore. And then I think we'll also see them on certain SKUs that AMD wants to liquidate. Will we see them on the NVIDIA cards given that a lot of the higher end models seem to be going away anyway? I don't know. The big discount that Newegg offered here was like $10 off of a 2080 Super. Big deal. A $700 graphics card, an additional $10. So I don't expect NVIDIA to have any kind of massive pricing on that. That being said, let's go over a couple of GPUs that I think you're going to want to take a look at. For instance, the RX 6700 XT, an amazing GPU, 12 gigabytes of VRAM on it. Right now, again, selling for $350. I expect these, maybe even the 6750 XT, to go down near the $300 mark. Definitely the 6700 XTs. And remember that 6750 XT is probably also worth the price premium if it's only about 20 or 30 bucks more. Another card, obviously the RX 6650 XT, right now already only $249. You might just decide, what is it going to go down another 20 or 30 bucks? I do think we'll see one or more model approach that $200 mark. I don't think we'll get that low, but maybe $220. That being said, if that's the case, they're probably worth buying right now. Then of course we've got the RX 6600. I do expect these GPUs to go for under $200. We already saw a $189 one, a $199 one. I don't know how much lower they can go than that, but definitely these are some of the models that I would expect to go for bigger discounts. The other thing that often gets done is bundles. So you might see some bundles, for instance, with like a GTX 1660 Super. That being said, right now the 1660 Super, after the $20 MSI mail-in rebate, MSI is doing that on almost all their graphics cards, at least their mech ones right now, $199. Does it compete with the RX 6600? No, the 6600 absolutely blows it away, but I know some people will not buy AMD for some reason. And if that's you, then this is actually probably a pretty good one to look at. We're going to quickly go through used pricing. We've already seen huge discounts on these used GPUs as a result of Ethereum going to proof of stake. If you want to watch that, watch our video from last month. We went into this in much greater detail. Obviously right now, some of the cards actually went up a little bit right now. Miners are holding on these cards for dear life. I told you give them 60 to 90 days. So give them at least another 30 to 60 days at this point. They need to come to terms. They're living in an alternate reality where they think it's all going to come back and they just need some more time to kind of get right with the world right now. That being said, the ones I'm keeping my eye on is like the RX 5700 XT down to $180. That looks like a really good performer. Although of course the RX 6600 performs almost as well, brand new for about the same price. Essentially the same thing goes for previous generations of NVIDIA GPUs right now. Doesn't look that good in terms of overall pricing. And even on the Ampere cards, the RTX 3050 through the 3090, we're not seeing huge price drops right now. I do think that we will continue to see price drops on like the GTX 1660 Super, the 2060 eventually. Those are big mining cards that people will start to get rid of. I do think those miners though that are holding on will definitely hold on to the latest generation hardware for at least, again, another 30 to 60 days. So let's go through the best price to performance GPUs at current pricing right now. And if you're not familiar with how we do this, we basically peg all the cards versus the RX 570, a percent faster than the RX 570. And then we take the current price, either used or new, and we divide it and we get a price to performance. And then we just compare them based on 1080p, 1440p, and 4K performance. Starting off with the best GPU under $200. And look at that, the RX 5700 XT continues to creep up this list. Now number 2 in terms of price to performance, because it's got tons of performance and the prices come well under $200 right now. That being said, if you need something that's much cheaper, under $100, you've got the RX 570. Probably though, the RX 580, either 4GB or 8GB models selling for about the same price. Very, very good pricing on that. And check it out, the RX 6600 now makes the list because it's under $200. It's brand new and it's got a great price to performance given that it's a brand new card with a warranty. Jumping over to high FPS 1080p gaming cards regardless of the price. Killing it right now is the GTX 1070, also the GTX 1660 Super, same level of performance, about the same price for about $130. The 5700 XT, of course, absolutely destroying it with good performance, $180 used, but my inclination would be to go with the 6600 brand new card for $189, not too much more, unless you find a great deal on a 5700 XT, and that will continue to go down in price. Obviously, if you want to jump up in terms of the performance, the RX 6650 XT for $249 is just an absolute no-brainer. I would tend to avoid like the 1080 Ti. I know that NVIDIA is not pumping out the kinds of driver updates that they used to for game optimization, so they're actually not performing as well in some games as they used to in terms of their place in the product stack. Jumping over to the best 1440p gaming GPU in November, yeah, we already mentioned the RX 5700 XT, great price to performance used. If you want something new though, for sure, the RX 6650 XT, $249. That is a very capable 1440p GPU in most games. If you want to play Cyberpunk it with everything turned up, maybe not the best, maybe go stronger than that, but virtually every other game. That being said, if you want NVIDIA, you're probably going to need to go used in order to get the same price to performance. For the RTX 2070 Super, $270, pretty good performer. Also the RTX 2080 Super in that kind of bucket as well. But honestly, in terms of new pricing, the 6700 XT for $349, absolutely great value. Now the RX 1600 XT, $519, if you can pick it up for that, definitely worth it. Also a 4K card. That being said, you're starting to get in the realm where you can start thinking about maybe taking a shot up at the 7900 XT for, you know, again, admittedly, almost double the price, $900 when it comes out. Moving over to the best 4K gaming GPU, and yes, this is going to change a lot when we get the RTX 4080. This is going to change when we get the RX 7900 XTX and XT cards in here. I do expect some of this pricing to continue to decay on previous models. That being said, maybe not the RTX 3000 series, those have already gone up, but I do expect those used prices to continue to go down. So all that being said, if you want to build now, 6800 XT, look at that. I mean, great GPU, very good price on it, $519 right now, brand new. I would jump up at that point, rather than buying a 6900 or 6950 XT, I'd look at the 7900 XT or 7900 XTX instead. These NVIDIA cards aren't really convincing. I do expect the 3090 price on the used side to continue to come down. That being said, if you want the next gen experience, you're probably going to be buying into the 4090, or you're going to be waiting for the next generation cards that are coming, you know, closer to December. All right, let's play everyone's favorite game. Should you buy now or should you wait? Well, honestly, look, there's two kinds of buyers left, right? There are the buyers out there who want to get a 4090 and they're not going to settle for anything less than a 4090 or a 4080, or maybe they're waiting till December 13th when AMD launches its next gen GPUs, the RX 7900 XTX and 7900 XT. So those buyers, they've kind of got their mission and they're doing their best. Everybody else right now, if you're not buying one of those graphics cards, this is the moment. Black Friday is here. The GPU crisis is over. It's time to upgrade. It's time to build a new build. This is your moment. This is what we've all been waiting for. The used market looks really good if you can't afford that much. That being said, the RX 6600, at least in the US, I get that there are other markets out there that don't enjoy the same prices as maybe some of the US or other markets. Spreadsheet down in the video description link, you can put in your pricing and determine your own price to performance out of there. So go ahead and do that. Everybody else, it's time to buy. This is next couple of weeks is going to be your moment. Follow us at PC Builder Jason on Twitter for all the greatest deals that we're going to be tweeting out. If you're looking for build guides on the channel because you're going to build a new PC, we've got everything from the 5600, the 12400, the 12100 to the 5800X3D, the 13600K. We got a 7900X build and more. Check out those build guides. This is your moment. This is a super exciting time to be a PC builder. I hope you're enjoying it as much as I am. This is going to be a lot of fun for everybody. Remember, if you got value out of the video, give it a like. It makes a huge difference to the channel, especially this guy right here. And of course, subscribe and click that bell icon. That way you get notified when we release cool content. Hey, drop me down in the comments. What are you looking to upgrade? What are you upgrading from and upgrading to? Or what are you building new out there? Let me know what kind of deals you're finding, and we'll catch you on the next one.